good morning to good evening, good night, wherever you are. Welcome to this episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Today is Thursday, the 13th. It is, yes, Thursday, the 13th day of June, 2024. Welcome. For those of you, somebody might ask, why is it that we're on a Thursday? As we told you yesterday, we had so much to talk about. We could not have completed all yesterday, and we had no program on Monday. So this is the makeup Thursday, so to speak. We had to do the same thing last week when we couldn't. We did not have a program on the Monday. We did a makeup. So here we are today, Thursday, the 13th day of June, to do the makeup, to continue from where we left off yesterday and to address some of the issues that time did not permit us to address yesterday. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And again, I say to you, once you come on, by now you have to know the drill. Once you come on, you have to share the live and let people know, especially the fact that today is a Thursday. A lot of people would not know, especially those who have not subscribed to the channel, those who have not liked the page on YouTube, on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube and like on Facebook. They would not have gotten the notification of this program that is scheduled for today. Because I know today is not a regular day. Some people have said to me that they have not been getting notification for the program. I really don't know what is the reason for that. But I can tell you, many of you can attest to this, that yes, last evening, the notification was sent out for the program, as well as yesterday, I announced that we're going to have a program today at 11. So share the live. Give us a thumbs up when you come on. Right now, on the live, we have hundreds and only what? 18 thumbs up. No, that is not satisfactory. Once you come on, give us a thumbs up. And I'm saying to you again, the thumbs up that we're referring to is not a thumbs up in the chat. We don't want a thumbs up in the chat. We want it on the program itself. If you look on, if you're on YouTube or if you're in Facebook, you're going to see Facebook. You can like it and you can give us a thumbs up on the YouTube. That will assist to popularize even more this program. So yes, today, Thursday, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks to being in the land of the living. And as I indicated to you, we are here, my colleague, Mr. Conway, CC, as he's familiarly called, is already in the studio. He's ready and waiting, rearing for us to bring you the valid, credible information. And there is so much information to bring to your attention. We're going to continue to analyze this bombshell, this explosive release that the Mohammeds and the former PS of Home Affairs, she was the current PS of Ministry of Labor, have been sanctioned by the U.S. Department of Treasury. We'll unpack some more what it means, because there have been some commentary. Well, there's an article today in Stabrook News with some serious revelations, some important revelations, I should say, and people have been commenting. So we are going to continue to analyze that, and we're going to give you some other information and some other stuff. But yes, share the live. Let people know that we give us a thumbs up. I noticed since I spoke, people are giving us the thumbs up, but everyone, the thumbs up should be equal to the number of live persons. And as I can say, look, it's hundreds at this time. And again, I want to compliment you for your attendance, because the program was scheduled just after 5 this morning, and immediately persons started to flood into the schoolyard. Now, let me say this to you. Unfortunately, I recognize there was something with the computer, is a glitch. And when I rebooted and signed back on into the platform, the first 53 persons who were in the schoolyard this morning are not listed in the comments right now. The first 53, we have not had that many number of students who were in the schoolyard taken out from the comment section. So, but I have a record. I know who those persons are. I will call their names. I would not be able to put it up on the live, but rest assured, we know who came in first, and the records are there. So yes, share the live. And as I've said, roll call, announcements, and then we're going to go into the program. So share, share, share. Give us the thumbs up and let's get on with it. Share the live. I'm going to wait until you share some more because what we see, how many shares? I'm not sure how many persons have shared. But if each and every one of you share to 2 or 3 persons, at least we're going to, the numbers are going to mount. Yesterday, we had record numbers. We had record numbers in the schoolyard. We had record numbers on the live. We have never had those numbers. When I say record, we tell thousands, right? And I looked on the profile this morning on YouTube, and you wouldn't believe from time the program was posted on YouTube, I think it's like about 10,000 persons have looked at the program. About 10,000 on the last count. So keep sharing, keep giving us a thumbs up, and more people will get to hear the valid information. You are going to encourage us, not that we want encouragement, but you're going to encourage us further to be here and to give you the valid, credible information. So in terms of the roll call, let me tell you, as I said, this program was scheduled before 6 this morning. And the first person was Aileen. Aileen Norton, our female umpire. Now, Aileen, I suspect perhaps she didn't even sleep last night after that amazing victory by the West Indies over New Zealand, which saw them qualifying to the Super 8. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. But Aileen was the first person in. She was followed by Carlton, Lois. Then we had Inferno Boss, Mary Smith, Brian and Courtney Saul. They came in at 5:57. Fergus came in at 5:58. Then we have Evelyn. Sean came in. Tessa, that's I from Florida. Aubrey Pantlis from Canada. Magnell, and that's Magnell Borough. Denise from Florida. Orin from the UK. Wayne Kesney. Floyd Tappin came in. Vibert Lawson, regular. Wayne Liddell from the UK. Then Carla Jacobs, Cecil Ogle, Gary Barrow, Earl Abrams, Kenneth de Flormont, Winston Collins came in at 6:21. Then we had Gavin Jakey came in at 6:25. Then we have my squad mate, 9556 Taylor. He came in at 6:26. And Francis Keek, the man from Melanie Damishana, came in shortly after. Colin, there's Colinari. Then we have Clifton from Paris. Joseph McDonald Clive from the UK, that's Nesta. Princess R from Lamar Spring, she was here at 6:49. Then we had another Viber, John, 6:49. Lynette from the UK was in at 6:27. Pauline, that's McPherson, came at 6:58. Then Brennan came in. Then Emerson, Anthony Jarvis, Desiree, Liverpool that is, Machu, James Shetred. Then we had Morton, Ivor and Danny came in at 7:11. Fergus came in next. Then we had Rawl. Then the man from Linden up in the hills, Barlett, came in at 7:15. Then we had Sydney, original African. And he said he's the same as the original black man. But they changed the terminology now. So the original African came in at 7:17. Then Gibbo, Leon came in at 7:19. Evelina came next. Then Lucius Ian came in at 7:23. He was followed by Bonita. And then we had Akko Gonzalez. That is the first 53 persons who were on, and they were struck off. And again, it's something to do with the system. Once you log in and StreamYard and you come out, when you go back in most cases, and when you have large number of comments, the first set are taken off. So that is what we have. And then the persons, this will show you that the first person on that remain on is Pamela. Then we have Monica, George from BV. Then we have Bert. Then it's George again. This time it's George Mars. He came in at what? 7:42. Vernon came next. Then it was Malcolm. Then Ulrich. Ulrich would have enjoyed himself last night too, man. Oh, we're all on a roll. Then we have Karen, Rhonda, and this is Rhonda Chance, Barbara, Kevin. After Kevin, let me put up Kevin. It was Kevin. After Kevin, we have Melissa, then followed by Corinne, followed by Hezzy, followed by Dexter. Then who we had? After Dexter, this is another Barbara. Then Clarence, Maureen, let me scroll. Then we have David, and this is David Austin, because there are other Davids. Henrik is here. Kenny, welcome. Kenny's a regular from Maryland. Then we have Lorraine. And then family music is here. Lots of music playing in GT. Only that people are dancing. Music plays. Wake up music playing. Abide with me. And those songs of those of us who went to Sunday school and you got to wake up. That's the type of song they play now. Then we had Grantley, Patricia, Gary, Mr. G, Moses, Colin, and this is Colin Stanford from Queens, followed by Marlon, followed by Jacko from Georgia, another one who enjoyed himself last night, man. Lynette, and Lynette here is Lynette Court is in the house, and who else? Randolph 12538. He haven't put up his number today, but I know the number very well. I know both he and his brother, his twin brother. Marlon, then the man from East Bank is here. Vibert, and this is Vibert White. There's several other Viberts. Ruth is here. Then it's Paul from Canada. Welcome, Paul. Magnell is in the schoolyard. Then it's Clay, followed by Maury, followed by the secretary. The secretary is here, always present. Then we have Carl, Dylan, Queenie from Brooklyn. Then we have BV Man Ezekiah. BZ Man Ezekiah is here. And then he said, BV Man Ezekiah said, he talked about West Indies versus New Zealand. Adil Man is edge of the seat. And he said, you know that I'm an ardent cricket fan. And I would have, so he suspect I would have been on the edge of my seat too. I worked at the game, but I wasn't on the edge of the seat. Marcia came next. Then the other Vibert, this is Vibert Smith, 7464, I think was his police number. Then we have Gail, Duhan, Lyndon. He was followed by Forbes, followed by Patricia, Melville, Everett. Everett, I hope you're enjoying your holiday. Hope you had a wonderful birth date. Somebody have rebuked me, say, person has one birthday. Anything after that is birth date. And she's so correct. Then we have Camille Rastaman is here. McGarvey, I haven't seen you on the live for a while. Welcome. Sean is here, and this is the next Sean, Prompton. Terrence Brown. Pito from Queens is in the house. Then after Pito, we have from all the way from Canada, Gordon. Then it was Chilo. Then it was Orin. This is the next Orin. We had an Orin Beard. This is another Orin. Then the next person, Umi came next. And then it was all the way from the British Virgin Islands, I think it is. British Virgin Island. Michael Brower. Then my squaddy from Canada is in the house. Then we have a Carl Johnson. Welcome, Carl. And then old police Kevin Adonis is here. And this one, I can't recall seeing this person before. Connolly McCarty, welcome. You might have been looking on, but the first time you have commented, so welcome. Desiree is here. David. Then we have Edward. Edward was the first person on Facebook. When we went live, he came on exactly at 11. And then we have also Facebook. Abdul, the man from the Essequibo course, is here, followed by Lennox, Carlton. Then we had Karen and lots of other students. As I told you, we do this because it is important to have the roll call and for you to see how many persons are in the schoolyard waiting for the school door to open. And once the school door is open, then there is a rush to get in. Well, I shouldn't say rush because the students are disciplined and they just get into the class. Of course, the only rush is to get to the front seat so that everybody can be right up and close to the presenters to hear what is going on. So yes. Again, share the live, and let us get on. Share the live and let's get on with it. Let me do the announcements. The announcement should not take long. We have what? The announcement that I have to make today. We have a birthday today. Woman Assistant Superintendent Dion Pollard. She's celebrating a birthday today. I want to a birthday. Let me correct before my student correct me. Not a birthday. You only have one birthday. That's the day on which you were born. But any anniversary is either birth anniversary or the birth date, D-A-T, board date. So that's what we have. And one of the things in terms of well, this is not an announcement as such, but so I'm going to bring Mr. Conway in, and that is one of the first subjects we are going to deal with. So let me welcome my co-host, my fellow teacher, Mr. Conway. Welcome to this first episode of Incompetence.
Good morning. Thank you. Thanks to be in the land of the living. And I really enjoyed the cricket last night, although I wasn't on the edge of my seat, but I really enjoy it, and I'm happy for the West Indies and the Guyanese performance too.
Right, I know today is Thursday. Today is Thursday. You had this bombshell revelation against the Mohammeds and the Permanent Secretary, May Thomas. Now, today is missing indeed. Today you're going to hear, and somebody asked me last week the name of the song that I sang and the singer. It is Woman Bacchanal. Woman Bacchanal by the Mighty Duke. And it started off, it was a big bacchanal just the other day with the need and she Makumi. Big comments the other day with the need and she Makumi. I don't want to age to a passing straight. A fella pull me and tell me wait. Same time he need husband come off the bus. Well, it's now the Makume start to cuss. You're gonna hear cuss. You're gonna hear cuss. So that is the name of the song, Woman Bacchanal. It is by the Mighty Duke. Go on YouTube. You are going to enjoy it. Those people who like Calypso or not Calypso, Kaiso. Those of you who like Kaiso, like me, listen to it and enjoy. Listen to the lyrics. Listen to the lyrics. You better leave and go. Don't let me talk everything I know because you and Darius couldn't agree. You tied the child in the girl belly. Then another word just say, what you never shame the Makume say. You didn't shame last week Saturday. When your husband come home earlier instead, you ought to hide the man underneath the bed. Yeah, listen, man. Listen. So I'm going to hear enough cussing out today. See, one of the first things I want to remind our viewers about, remind our students. Today is the 13th of June, 2024. It was on the 12th of March, 3 months ago, that 12th of March this year, that Sergeant Vaughn, Alex Vaughn, was shot and killed 3 months ago. And apart from the initial report from the police that said that it was an accidental incident by one of his colleagues and the person who did the shooting was under close arrest, I have not heard anything more. I don't know if they gave any other release. I don't know what is the position of that matter. Imagine that. A police sergeant is shot and killed 3 months ago. And up to now, you can't hear anything else from the police. CC, maybe you would have heard, because I know you onto the news. Have you heard anything else about the shooting or the death of Sergeant Vaughn?
Nothing since the initial report. And what is shocking is that it was a police operation, or let me say a joint services operation. Their own people were there, and they jump off and with breakneck speed and say it was an accidental. So they were there. Their people there do the investigation, and up to now they can't come up with something. Something is wrong. And even after that too, I went to the funeral and I went to his home, and believe me, when the body went there to his home on the West de Moraro, not a police representative was present. Nobody from headquarters, nobody from the division we serving, or nobody from region number 3. Shocking. No representative at the home where the body went.
And that's 3 months. But then I am reminded too that in December last year, a helicopter crashed, killing some senior members of the Guided Defense Force. I think 5 persons died in that crash. And up to now, the country can't be told what is going on. Even a preliminary report, nothing. So it's a type of secrecy, and they talk about transparency. They love to use the word transparency, and if they see it on a lamp pole in reflective colors, in luminous colors, they're not going to recognize the word. They don't know what transparency means. Imagine that. A police sergeant is killed 3 months ago in March. On March the 12th, I think the incident occurred. At least that's when it was reported. And we are now into June the 13th, and the police can't give any further update and all that. And sometimes again, I say I have to blame the media people because I have a lot of friends in the media because they don't ask questions. There's a question perhaps they can ask today at that so-called press conference. What is the position with that incident? What is the position with the investigation to the crash of the GDF helicopter in which 5 soldiers, including senior person, Brigadier General, Colonel, and all of those persons were killed? What is the position? And you know, the thing about that, there were 2 survivors. The co-pilot survived, and 1 other person survived. And they want us to believe, from what we have learned so far, that this helicopter crash. The pilot was burnt beyond recognition. That is what was reported. But the co-pilot, who is supposed to have been sitting next to the pilot, escaped unscathed, more or less. No burns, no bruises, nothing like that. Now you make that make sense. You are sitting, you don't have to sit in an helicopter to know that. But imagine, let's use our imagination. 2 persons are sitting in close proximity to each other, and one is burnt beyond recognition, and the other one is escapes unscathed. And remember, this helicopter, burning and coming down, and whatever it crashed. So it's not a case where you could say, well, perhaps the one man jump out before this thing happened and so on. And up to now, we can't hear anything. Up to now, we cannot. So as we segue into, I'm going to ask Mr. Conway to comment to that in a short while, and then we're going to segue into this sanction issue. Well, Mr. Conway, my friend, helicopter crash since December last year. That is about 6 months now. And pilot burned beyond recognition. Co-pilot survived. You need a word from the co-pilot, the other survivor, not a word from the chief of staff. But I suspect the chief of staff would have been so emotionally disturbed that he is unable to come and to give some statement in relation to what happened. What are your thoughts, my friend?
Well, they give us an indication since the initial stage, where those men who made presentation there, they were very cagey. They want forthright, So we don't know what would have been coming. And then apart from the very interesting thing is that they acquire a new vessel, a new boat the other day, and they name it after one person who died in the crash. Yeah. So it's sheer nonsense going on, Paul.
Well, you say nonsense, but I like to use the word that Nyland Welch used to use, man. Sheer nonsenseness. It is sheer nonsenseness. That was Nyland Welch, old inspector from the TSU. He was famous for using that word, jocular way and so on. Well, that's what's going on. That is what is going on, right? And they come and tell you about transparency and all that. Now, as we segue into this this sanction, today is Thursday. And last night it occurred to me that the vice president, who is going to have this so-called press conference, he like calling people names, right? Like, who is criminal, who is low life. He had said that the judge was presumptuous. That is what he said when the judge made the ruling. I think it's in the GTU matter, Justice Sandil Kisoon. He said the judge was presumptuous. I wonder if he can get the testicular fortitude to say that the U.S. authorities, the Treasury Department, was presumptuous in issuing this sanction against these people. Wonder if he can say so. Wonder if any journalist will ask him if he believes that the U.S. authorities are presumptuous. I know I said in the post that monkey no whistling for jump on. And if I were a betting man, I can bet big that he ain't gonna use no insultive nor abusive language towards the U.S. Authorities. He dare not. But I might be wrong. Sometimes the man get more balls than I think. And he might very well cuss them out today. So tune in. CC, what you think, buddy? You think we can get a cuss out today where the U.S. authorities are going to be the target?
he might try to be diplomatic, you know. I think he get the balls. I think he get more C than Balanje, you know. He will not go down the line there at all, Paul. No way.
Yeah, you will see that bygone. The man might surprise all the way, man. The man might throw out seed more than bygone and pepper and all sort of thing put together. But let's see. Let's see. And as we think, let me go straight into this today's uh, um Stabrook News as an article today addressing the whole issue. And even though we addressed it yesterday, there are some other stuff that came up, which I think it's important to bring to the attention of our students and to make sure that we dissect this thing. The headline is silence on the gold smuggling front. That's what is the headline. Silence on the gold smuggling front. I'm not going to read the whole article, but it's important that they read excerpts, and then we're going to go into it. You start out by saying the government and local regulatory agencies remained tight-lipped yesterday as claims by the United States that some 10,000 kilograms of gold was smuggled out of the country between 2019 and 2023. He say, and another part said the Mohammeds and Toussaint Junior Thomas have remained silent on the matter. The Ministry of Natural Resources yesterday said that while it is responsible for mining activities, it will not address the issue of how gold worth over 50 million US dollars in royalties was smuggled out of Guyana, while the Guyana Revenue Authority said it was awaiting information on the collusion aspect of the case. There has been no word from the Financial Intelligence Unit, the Guyana Police Force, the Guyana Gold Board, the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission, the Bank of Guyana, and the Special Organized Crime Unit. That is so cool. Another part says here, the U.S. Treasury allegation against the Mohammeds include defrauding the government heir of some 50 million in royalties, 50 million US. That's 10 billion Guyana dollars in royalties and other benefits from smuggled gold, as well as bribing public officials. Bribing public officials, that's what they're claiming, that they're alleging the Mohammeds did that. And that's a concerning Toussaint Junior Thomas. It said that she used her office while serving at the Ministry of Home Affairs to offer benefits to the Mohammeds that included contracts, license for weapons, and passports. We're going to go into this thing a little later. We're going to dissect a little later. It goes on to say, on the corruption front, President Irfan Ali was on Tuesday asked about the matter and said that he had spoken to the United States Ambassador Nicole Tirat and asked her to share all the information the U.S. has with Guyana's local agencies. Hear the part, let me read the part. Salvatore is saying that President Ali said that on Tuesday, when he was asked about the matter, he said that he had spoken to the United States Ambassador and asked her to share all the information the U.S. has with Guyana's local agencies. It goes on here to say, and they're quoting the president. Somebody says something. Are you hearing me? Apparently there is somebody. Hold on, let me try. Somebody said bad song. Are you? Oh, maybe again. Let me. Somebody, are you hearing me better now? All right. Hold on a while. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and I'm going to try to see. Hold on. See if I'm going to try to fix some problem there.
I'm not hearing you clearly, Paul. I'm not hearing you clearly. I don't know if it's something from your end or
It looks
my
like
end.
there's something from my end. So if you can hear me, I'm asking you to continue, and I will try to.
You say something from this one?
Right. Very poor sound they're saying. So I'm going to try now to change my sound, the sound output. But if you can hear me, CC, I'm asking you to carry on, and I will try to change the sound arrangement.
Okay. And just going back to the same Starbuck news, you know, and according to the news, he was asked about the permanent secretary, And here is what the president is reported to have said. In relation to the permanent secretary, I have not had the opportunity to engage her as yet. But while we await information on whatever document the Treasury Department will send to us, that we have requested the PS will be on leave. Imagine that. You, the president, serious damaging evidence against the PS, and you're requesting or to go and leave. That is not leadership. Leadership dictates that you send her on leave. But it's the same scenario that played out with Damlal. Remember when the allegation made against Darlam, the president requested him to go and leave. To, he requested him to resign from the as minister and as member of parliament. Here is it, a president requesting. Where is the leadership? Where is the strong leadership? Yeah, the president needs to call her by now and talk to her and say, hey, based on this here, really, you have to go on and then you're saying, what kind of leave has she gone on? What kind of leave has she gone on? Is it leave with full pay? Is leave with half pay? What kind of leave? This thing is really ridiculous. And then in dealing with the Mohammeds, even the Mohammeds, one, the owner is a member of the neighborhood Democratic Council and chairman of the Eccles Ramsburg district. Yeah? Would he be asked to go and leave? Or would he be asked to step down? What really is happening? And then there's the saying that they're going to request information from the U.S. Department. The people won't give them if the people that believe in them, if the people had confidence in them, if they had confidence in the police and the other departments there, they would have certainly shared information with them. But they won't share information with the person who they don't have confidence in. Yeah? You give the government information and they go and try to cover up. No, they're not handling this thing properly ought to be. And when you look at it, they're not really serious. They're not really serious about what is going on here. Damaging allegation against the PS, and then you're requesting that you're going to leave. Nonsense, man.
Well, can you let me try to make a next thing. Are you hearing me now, CC?
Clearly.
Really, all right. That they're working on me. They're working, but I can fight. I can fight back. Now let me continue from where I left off. Even though CC covered a part of it, I'm going to continue. It says, and the president is quoted here in Stabrook as saying, I saw the press release. I have engaged United States ambassador, and of course, you know that we take these issues very seriously. Here what the president is saying, of course, you know that we, meaning, I guess, the government, take these issues very seriously. He talking about corruption and gold smuggling. He goes on, I have asked the ambassador to share all the information with us so that our local agency can have that information. And she has endeavored to make the request. She has endeavored to make the request to have all the information that they are in possession of shared with us, so that we can have the local agencies look at that information. What nonsense they're talking. As Mr. Conway, my colleague, rightly said, the fact that the U.S. operated in the manner they operated, and based on the statement issued by the Treasury Department, that's a government officials, some of the same government officials might be involved directly or indirectly, might be complicit in this whole thing. So you think that the U.S. authorities are so backward as to share with the same people who are known, because they know, to be complicit in these illegal activities? What nonsense is the president saying, right? They're taking stupidity to another level, because here it is, based on the release from the Treasury Department of the United States. They're sanctioning Azuddin Mohammed and his father, Nazar Mohammed, known as Shell. They're sanctioning a government official, Mayor Thomas, used to be PS at the Ministry of Home Affairs, responsible for the police, the fire, the prison, GRO, and all of those places. Then she moved when she was held in New York for hours and interrogated, not questioned, interrogated, put in handcuff and interrogated. Her phone was seized, her visa was revoked. So that when she was on the way to China, a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Home Affairs, the nation's national security ministry, is on her way from Guyana to China. And according to the vice president, she was on PPP business. That is what was said. They took her phone, revoked her visa. So on the return journey, she had to go through some circuitous route to get back to Guyana. When she got there, I played the thing yesterday with the Minister of Home Affairs, Robeson-Ben, useless Robeson-Ben, saying he gave her permission to go. And when the journalist asked about her remaining in the ministry, of course, I'm surprised that you would ask such a question. That is what the Minister of Home Affairs said in response to the question asked by Dennis Shabal from the Marara Waves. So you think these people are going to share information with you? Yeah? You think they are that stupid? You think they went to IFLOC University? You think that? The people know that government officials, they know the names. They know the names. Visas have been revoked. I am reliably informed of one person, and no one, and I know some others who had their visa taken away recently. Taken away. And you think the US government is going to tell you, share the information with you? No, they're not going to do that. You're going to see the information when sanctions are imposed. So when they bring in more sanctions, then you're going to see who are the other people. And let me tell you this. Despite all the mamagain by them, and you're going to hear more mamagain later, they know. They know, because if you do something, you know. Because if the Mohammeds are sanctioned, and the PS Home Affairs is sanctioned, she is now at Labor, she is sanctioned, then all of them who are associated with her, the extent of their association and collusion, they must know. They must know, well, hey, I did involved with this, she did give me something, or maybe I did tell she to do that, and so on. We're going to dissect it more. And therefore, the US, no. They might even know, well, should they send me a text message? Should they send me a WhatsApp message? We had a call. All of those things would have been harvested from the phone of the PS. And don't forget, Michelle Caesar, Superintendent of Police, the head of the Guyana Police Force Major Crime Unit. He had a similar encounter with the US officials, where in New York, he was pulled in, questioned for hours. His phone was seized. That is what it is alleged, that his phone was seized. I know he was pulled in, and his phone was seized. And then Jack Dio, the vice president, said at a press conference, this so-called press conference, there's a matter for the police administration to deal with. Imagine that. The man in charge of the major crimes unit of the Guyana Police Force is detained by the U.S. authorities, federal authorities, and the vice president is saying that's not a matter for the government. That is basically saying it's a matter for the police administration to deal with. But I warn y'all, you got to see people like Caesar come to you, bare buckler, G-string, no shoes. If you get enough air in the head, go and visit the barber. If you have the technology, put it through an X-ray, put it through MRI, other imaging, make sure nothing in there, because, well, perhaps now it is too late. Perhaps it's too late. Too late should be the cry. You know that term? Those of you who went to school, maybe it is now too late. Damage already done. Because of the fact that the U.S. went to the stage now where they have issued this, they have made them designated persons. That is that language they use. They have made them designated persons. It means that they get all the information really that they want. It means that they have a lot of information that they really want. They get names. And don't forget, Barry Dataram, a known drug smuggler, admitted he went to the States, get charged. We had a warrant out for him, and he traveled from Guyana to go and surrender basically to the US authorities. And when the matter came up for trial, he was sentenced to time served. Listen to this. He was sentenced to time served. In other words, and not only was he sentenced to time served, some of the things still remain sealed. Some of the documents remain sealed. In other words, they ain't opening it for people to know who name he called and all the association and so on. And some of the things that were released, some parts were redacted. In other words, they blacked the part out. They black it out. And why would they black it out? This is a man who is now convicted and sentenced to time served. Why would they keep the file sealed? It's because enough of them name, enough information that is there, they are still to act on. And I still believe you're going to have on-field indictments coming down the pipeline. On seal, they might very well have sealed indictments and on seal the thing. Now, if it is not so, I dare them. This is summer coming up. Jump on a plane and come to New York and spend a little time. Jump on a plane, travel to New York, spend a little time in wherever you just go. But you know they're gonna take the chance because they know those who are involved. Now the US authorities will tell them. But if you hold on from Caesar as they did, you hold on and May Thomas. Those of you in Guyana there, those of them who were communicating and colluding with May Thomas, they must know, and therefore they must have a strong suspicion that their names are on that list. So they not take chance. They wouldn't even go to Lethem. They didn't even go to Springlands, those border communities, because they believe they can be rendered. They might be rendered free trip to the US. Let me bring you Mr. Conway, and then I'm gonna continue. God, they're telling me that my audio sort out, so I can bring it back, Mr. Conway. Now, CC, continue, my brother.
Yeah, another part of this report, in the Starbuck News. Here, what they're saying, they're quoting the government of Guyana will continue to work with the United States government on all matters of mutual interest, including the respect for the rule of law and order. Now, they're trying to throw dust in the eyes. The United States government wasn't working with them. The United States government didn't trust them. The United States government was working on its own. And because it was working on its own, now they're asking the ambassador for information. So how is it that they will continue, hear the language, will continue to work with the United States government on all aspects of the matter of interest and the rule of law? There's no the rule of law has gone to the dogs in Guyana. Where is the rule of law in Guyana? So they're trying us in the eye that they will continue to work with the United States government on all matters. The United States government was not working with them. Everything was working as own because it didn't trust them. You know that confidentiality will go through the window.
Yeah, but you're correct. You're so correct. Look, let me tell you this. Again, I told you folks, new students, that we were trained in statement analysis. Both CC and I, trained in statement analysis. So when these statements are issued, we analyze them. And as you rightly said, the government will continue to work with the U.S. authorities, which is they're implying that they have been working with the U.S. authorities. Not so, because if you're going to continue to work with them, how come you now have to request information with respect to the same matter that you're working with them with? They did not share it with you. They did not share. If you're working together, one would expect that whatever they know, you know as well. You know as well. So I tell you, we got to analyze these statements. We got to analyze, read between the lines. They were not. The Guyana government was not working. This is an operation involving 11 agencies from the United States. 11 agencies. They are listed in the press release from the Treasury Department. 11 agencies. Federal and other agencies, 11. Check it out. It's there. So they're not going to come and fool you, but we're working together. Some of the same people are complicit. The United States government, various agencies, Drug Enforcement Authority, Federal Bureau, and all those type of things, will not provide certain information to the Guyana Police Force, to KANU, and agencies of the Guyana government because they don't have any confidence in them. They are not. And I remember the issue when Dr. Ram, I think it was January last year, decided that he was traveling to the United States. When the plane was airbound on its way, a certain senior man in a certain law enforcement agency learned that Dr. Ram had left. The man hit the roof. The man hit the roof. The man went berserk. You know, a man is saying, when you see the word berserk, he pronounced some Borskew. So this man went berserk. Why this so-and-so man was allowed to leave? You actually so-and-so. And the man cuss out and the man carry on. Because his agency was called by Barry Dataram. I'm trying to get that video with Bardi Dataram calling people's names in Guyana. Some years old video where he said that they were complicit in the drug trade. So they come to you with this nonsense about we working together and we have requested. I am saying that no useful information will be provided to them. But your private, let's assume, let's get real. Let's assume that this information is provided to the Guyana government to investigate who these people are complicit in. Who they're going to provide it to? The Guyana Police Force for the major crime unit and for the special organized unit to investigate. When they themselves might be complicit in this whole thing, you think these people don't know? You think they don't know? They're talking about corruption. They say the minister, the PS, was corrupt. She got gifts and cash from the Mohammeds. That is what they are alleging. And, you know, they say a picture worth 1,000 words. Go back on the Facebook, you know, they like post pictures and so on. You're going to see several pictures of the minister. I'm saying the minister, sorry, the PS posing with the younger Mohammed. They're all over the place, posing. And then the question was asked, since then, isn't this a conflict of interest? You're in charge of the administration arm of the Ministry of Home Affairs. And here you are, posing with this businessman who is accused of many things. It is there for people to see. So you believe that the U.S. did not have all of these things? And maybe just waiting when they went through the phone, when they talked to Caesar, when they talked to Barry, Dr. Ram for him to make the link, because they talk about contracts where she facilitated. They're alleging her of they're alleging that she facilitated contracts to the sanctioned persons. That is what they claim. They say they say weapons. Look, read it carefully. I have it here. They say that weapons were she provided approval for weapons. Well, I don't know what authority she got to think, but remember, the firearm licensing board is an agent controlled by the Ministry of Home Affairs. So therefore, if she is the permanent secretary, Ministry of Home Affairs, as she was then, she would have had some influence over the firearm licensing board. Because this thing which I hear the talking about here is not, I don't think is any one body decide, look, they want a pistol or they want an upgrade. If you were talking about something, that is my interpretation. They're talking of something more insidious than that. More insidious. When they talk about passport, because they mentioned passports too, don't forget these things. And again, when they talk about passport, it's not a case where they are going to say that, look, somebody went and asked her to assist in expediting a passport. The U.S. authorities are not going to be interested in that. You get a long delay and somebody goes to the chief immigration officer, who is the commissioner of police, the extended squatter, or they go to the minister or any other authority at the Ministry of Affairs and ask for some help. People are not going to be interested. The U.S. are interested in that. So when they talk about passport, my reading is that Guyanese passport are given to people of shady character, people with shady character. And let me take you back, you know. Let me take you back. I am a memory warrior, you know. It was back in 2006 in the lead up to Cricket World Cup. I will never forget. I was in Trinidad and Tobago at a security meeting with Clement Roy. when the news broke that one of the most wanted terrorists in the world, the US had declared, what the man named Sukra Juma. Sukra Juma, one of the most wanted terrorists in the world. He was facilitated with a Guyanese passport. I will never forget that because he turned to me, that is Roy, and we had a discussion about that matter in Trinidad, in Port of Spain, where we were attending a meeting. So when they talk about passport, they're not talking about somebody who is a legitimate Guyanese going to get asked for some assistance for the thing to be expedited. They are talking, I think, about passport being given to people who are a threat to the US security. That is what I interpret that to mean, right? Give passport to people, because remember they have a close relationship with people in the Middle East and some countries that are deemed to be anti-US. So y'all got to understand, let me read into this thing properly, read into it properly. This is, as we said yesterday, and I'm saying it again, this is massive. This is massive. And I'm saying that the sanctions against the three and their businesses, right, is a tip of the iceberg. And I know, in case, and before I begin, Mr. Conway, that when the authorities are dealing with issues like this, you don't start at the top and come down. You just start at the bottom and you work your way up. So if that is the scenario here where you're starting from the bottom and the Mohammeds are somewhere at the bottom, you can imagine who are the ones above Mohammed. Let me pause now and bring in Mr. Conway and hear what he has to say. Let me hear some words of wisdom. Cece, words of wisdom, my brother.
All right, let me just still stay on this Tabrook News report. And here's what they're saying about Tucson Junior Thomas. As for Tucson Junior Thomas, OFAC designated her as being a foreign person who is a current or former government official or a person acting for or on behalf of such official who is responsible for or complicit in or has directly or indirectly engaged in corruption, including the misappropriation of state assets, the expropriation of private assets for personal gain, corruption related to government contracts, or the extraction of natural resources or bribery. This is the damaging thing, and then they request her to go and leave. And not only that too, gold smuggling is not only the Mormons alone. There are other people maybe even be bigger than Muhammad. Remember that they talk about a Brazilian connection. I think Reuters reported a Brazilian connection, and as well as a Venezuelan connection, where they mix in the Brazilian gold and the Venezuelan gold with Guyanese gold and exporting it, So it's bigger than that, and I will be surprised if very shortly others will be made known.
Yeah, I see one of the students, Winston. Yes, I listened this morning. And I decided there are other things that I need to expound on. Yes, I listened. And let me say to pick up from where CC just left off, we talk about this Brazilian issue. It was Tabrook News of July the 12th, 2023. And they reported Brazilian probe fingers local businessman in gold smuggling and money laundering. Here it is. July last year, Brazilian probe fingers local businessman in gold smuggling and money laundering. And my information is not the same people who are now sanctioned. Others are involved in the business, and others are alleged to be bigger in the business than these. And therefore, before I read the article or excerpts from the article, the question, therefore, if others are involved and are bigger, why did you go for these? Why did you go for these? Because as far as I'm aware, the others, though they are involved and though they are bigger, they don't have the same type of connections, political and other connections, like the Mohammed. Let me check to see if you can hear me now again. I had lost internet a little while there. Can you hear me, folks? Just indicate if you can hear me. I had some technical challenges there in a while ago, and just indicate if you hear me. Yes, is you hearing me?
Hearing you, hearing you loud and clear. Hey, okay. 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 All right. No, you see, you walking the year knock out the internet.
I'm walking. I'm walking overtime.
Hello. 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 Okay. All right.
Back now, see me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
I don't know, Mr. Khan. All right, folks. Let me get an indication whether you can hear me, and I will continue. I don't know. We got some serious. You're all right. I'm here. They can hear me, so I will continue. I think Mr. Conlon might have to come out and come back in because I don't think I think he's frozen. So see if you somebody let me call
I,
him to tell him.
I'm hearing you.
Right, folks. Again, my apologies. Sorry about that. Hope we can have an uninterrupted session now. You're saying they hear me loud and clear. That's some issues. They're working, but as I said, we got to stay with it. We are not going to give up. When we were interrupted, I was telling you that the Brazilian link and the fact that they are reports that they are bigger smugglers of gold out of the country. And therefore, if you have people who bigger, the question is, why did they go after these? And I made the point that while the others might be bigger, I don't think they have the same type of political connection. So maybe it has to do with the political connection. And if we are saying that these are the lower rungs of this corrupt ladder that they are talking about, then one can then imagine who are the ones who are in the middle and are high up, right? The high up. And again, the people say it is not we saying they talk about government officials. And I'm sure the government officials include law enforcement officials. And let me remind you, when we talk about law enforcement officials in Guyana, we're talking about people in the police force, including the CANU. We're talking about the Customs Anti-Narcotic Unit. People talk about GRA. Those things are mentioned, and the president wants to tell us that they're going to request from the U.S. information so that they can investigate locally. They got all the information they want from Vice News, and they never raise a finger to investigate the vice president when allegations were made that he is involved in corrupt practices. And again, let me emphasize, the U.S. are aware, the authorities would know about what the Sugate is all about. they would have done their own independent investigation to know what Sugate is all about. So let me understand. I was telling you too about the passport issue. The U.S., it is my belief that the U.S. are not going to be interested if somebody take a bribe to facilitate a expedited passport. No. I don't believe that. They're not at that level where somebody goes and say, man, take $100 or take some money. I want my passport by tomorrow. A legitimate guy needs to get it. So when they talk about the PS being involved in passport, it has to be something bigger than that. And I told you before we got cut off about one of the most wanted terrorists in the world. The U.S. had designated Sukojuma, Anand al-Sukojuma or something like that he named. And he was traveling on a Ghana passport. This is when I think they named him around 2006. I remember well, it was a build-up to Cricket World Cup 2007. I was part of the security directorate then when that word came out. Guyana passport, one of the most noted terrorists traveling on. And therefore, the people are aware of these things. Arms, they talk about the weapons. But when they talk about weapons, I'm sure they are referring to arms, small arms. And here, let me tell you, when we talk about small arms, I know about guns. When we talk about small arms are not revolvers and pistols and handguns. In the lexicon of firearms, small arms are bigger. So submachine gun, machine gun, all of those things are categorized as small arms. So I'm saying that if they're involved, they say arms, they say weapons, and I'm saying that this weapon got to be arms. And it is no secret. Look around, go by the same in Lambert Street there, you're going to see all of those modern assault rifles. Right there, Sean. General purpose machine guns and all of those things are referred to as small arms. Unfortunately, the persons who don't know, when they hear about small arms, then they think about pistols and revolvers. No. I have a book which I promised to give to some worthy, present as a prize to some worthy person. Small arms of the world. Things like grenade launchers, things like bazookas. All of those things are referred to as small arms, like machine guns, GPMG, which is general purpose machine, all of those things. So we don't know what is being facilitated. We don't know, but the U.S. know. The U.S. know. And then they made a very interesting point here. And now, before I go to that, I'm jumping around, because this thing distracts me a bit. But let me tell you about a Brazilian probe. Brazilian probe fingers local businessman in gold smuggling, money laundering. Brazil is conducting an investigation involving a Guyanese businessman who is said to be part of a smuggling ring where some 80 million, there's rural or what they call it, Brazilian money, which is equivalent to 16.4 million US of illegally mined gold, was laundered through shell companies in the food and medical supply industries. Several days ago, the Ministry of Justice and Public Security of Brazil reported through its federal police that an investigation dubbed Operation Vangloria had been launched that would get to the origin and sale of illegal gold. And they go on to tell you the story, but they say Guyanese businessman, a Guyanese businessman is involved. And they say when Starbrook News contacted the Special Organized Crime Unit in Guyana, the unit through its head, Senior Superintendent Fazal Karambash, said they were unaware of this matter. They were unaware. Saying the Brazilian, your neighbor, did not tell them about this big operation they were conducting. Starbrook News also reached out to the Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Natural Resources, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And thus far, no official response has been given. No official response. In this release too from the U.S., they talk about people arming, I think they mentioned the word militia. People arming militia, security companies. I think that's what they refer to as militia. And look around, we know what we're talking about. Look around. They talk about money laundering. They talk about money laundering. And here, let me tell you what is the definition for money laundering and before I bring in CC, there's a money laundering involves disguising financial assets so they can be used without detection or the illegal activity that produces them. Through money laundering, the criminal transforms the monetary proceeds derived from criminal activity into funds which with an apparently legal source. Money laundering, because when you talk about gold smuggling, it is part of the money laundering process. You get so cool. Wonder what they're doing with money laundering. They get right in the police force. A senior officer is alleged to have attempted to launder $16.5 million Guyana dollars. And why 16.5 may not seem big to the people abroad, in Guyana there's big money. A police officer, where you get that from? Money laundering. Police officers are alleged, current police officers, senior officers, are alleged to be building several houses all over the place. Where they're getting the money from? There's no integrity testing to test how is it that an officer, senior officer in the Ghana Police Force, can be attempting to deposit into the police credit union, a financial institution, $16.5 million, 2 black paper bag, is part of the money laundering process because the money may have been illegally acquired. And you can't go and put it in a bank. Because if you went and you put $16.5 million in a bank, the financial institution, the financial investigative unit will be notified. You make one big deposit, they're going to be notified and they're going to question the source of your income. When you're going to deposit that money to, you might have to tell them the source of the income. So what they do? They then, using their authority and their influence in the force, police has a financial institution known as a police credit union. So you deposit the money in the police credit union and then you're going to take a loan. You're going to take a loan. Money laundering. So when you go now and you put it for the bank, you're going to say, well, it's a loan I get from the police credit union. You clean it up. That is what is going on. Do you think the United States authorities are not aware of that? I'm waiting for the hammer to drop. I am waiting for the hammer to drop. It is money laundering. This part of this gold smuggling is a big thing. And before I bring in CC, let me say this. $50 million over a period of time is alleged to have been, they deprived the government coffers of $50 million during this process, 10 billion Guyana dollars. And yet still, you're going to hear the president and the vice president tell you that the budget doesn't have the fiscal space to pay teachers a little bit more money that they well deserve. They don't get fiscal space. Well, you can't get fiscal space if you're facilitating them type of criminal activities and a big portion of the resource being channeled to these people through illegal activities. And these are the same people. You got to understand how this money laundering thing works, Because when they get all them big money, remember they get other activities, quarry, and they're involved in other activities as well. So they're going to say the proceeds are from the quarry. So if we decide to deposit $2 million in a bank, these are proceeds from the quarry and so on. And unfortunately, as someone said last night on Bench Cap Radio, the institutions in Guyana are weak. So they're not going to be able to investigate these things properly. And where they are not weak, you have many corrupt officials, many corrupt persons. And let me say this right off the bat. I have said it repeatedly. In all of these organizations, whether it's GRA, the Guyana Revenue Authority, the Guyana Police Force, the Custom, the CANU and all of those places, they have honest people involved. There are people there who are dedicated and honest people. But the system, when you have one or two honest people and the system is corrupt, it is difficult for them to remain above the fray. I know from personal experience. I know because when I stood up to Gadraj and Jack Dio when he was president in an incident in Borbis, they wanted to crucify me. They attempted to move me out of the force because I intervened appropriately in a matter. Tell the minister, sorry, sir, this gun cannot be returned to this man at this stage. The investigation has not progressed to this place. Let her move me out the force. I had to go to court to challenge that. And since then, I have been in Jagdio's site, and I have been in the others' site as well. Look again, 2020, President wanted me to get involved in a corrupt process promoting people. I was chairman of the Police Service Commission, and I resisted. Criminal charges, trumped up criminal charges, still dragging through the court. So I'm saying this to say that even when you have people of strong morals, they can be corrupted. In my case, I decided according to the Guyanese, I am Deso. I have never been involved in any corrupt activity, and Jack Dio didn't get me involved, Irfan Ali didn't get me involved, nobody gonna get me involved in any corrupt. It's your upbringing. It's your upbringing. And don't tell me about people come now and then pressure can be applied, but a lot of people I know when pressure applied decide to walk. Decide, no, I'm not gonna get involved in that. They walk. I suspect that many of them now who are involved wished that they not get involved following the sanction because they know they coming. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to deal, and then we're gonna move on. CC?
Yeah, well said. And just getting back to this senior officer who laundering them or attempting to launder the money. You know what they're calling him now? They're calling him the bank. And a recent check revealed that for months, several months, he has not touched his salary. You know, the police money paying to the bank. For several months, he has not touched his salary. And he and another one, they're calling them the duets. And the duets running things, the duet controlling, doing all the corruption and all kind of thing there. But getting back to this, the Stabrook News thing, they say the smuggling was made possible because the customs and other gold board documents were recycled along with seals. Hundreds of millions of dollars of profits were being made but little to Guyana. Considering these factors, smuggling, including gold smuggling, represents a high threat of money laundering in Guyana. So the whole thing, the money laundering is big, it's massive, and it's done with collaboration with government agency. So what they're asking the US to give them information about the agency, the US not going to give it because they don't know that they don't trust them, and they won't really deal with them.
And as we said, there are many other actors. Remember not so long ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, three persons were arrested at the Cherry Jagan International Airport as they tried to smuggle a big portion of gold disguised as silver jewelry. It is not, it's all a nest of these smugglers. And let me read something here to you briefly. In January, this is what year, we talk about 2024. In January this year, Attorney General Anil Nandlal, SC, noted that gold smuggling was one of the highest money laundering threats in Guyana. Listen to what the Attorney General said, Anil Nandlal and the President, and them asking the US information. Nandlal says so therefore he get information. How did he make such a statement? He said in January of this year, Attorney General Anil Nandlal, SC, noted that gold smuggling was one of the highest money laundering threats in Guyana, which was flagged by the Second Money Laundering and Terrorist Financial Action Task, Financial National Risk Assessment in 2022. This was flagged in 2022. The National Risk Assessment noted that in 2016, it was reported that 15,000 ounces of gold was smuggled out of Guyana weekly, while in 2017, a major gold smuggling racket was unearthed through the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, which provided Guyanese authorities with a list of persons who had taken gold to the JFK Airport, New York, and declaring it there. What are you asking about? This information was provided. Let me repeat what this is saying. The National Risk Assessment noted that in 2016, it reported that 15,000 ounces of gold was smuggled out of Guyana weekly, while in 2017, a major gold smuggling racket was unearthed through the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, which provided Guyana's authorities with a list of persons who had taken gold to the JFK airport. Now, I'll tell you, well, they weren't in government then. And I'm going to say to you, in the counter to that, the thing couldn't start then. It started a long time and continued through these administrations. It continued. And don't forget that not so long ago, let me give you the correct time. In 2012, 476 pounds of gold believed to have originated from Guyana was stolen from a Guyanese fishing boat, Summer Bliss, which was docked in the Dutch Caribbean island of Curacao. Based on information this newspaper received, the vessel was on its way to Miami, but made a stop in Curacao. The gold was valued approximately 11.5 million US dollars. But I don't know what they're coming to tell you, but they want information. The information is there. I know they're quick to say, well, the previous government did not act on it, but you have not acted on it before. You have not acted on it now, to the point where government officials, because in those days they never named government officials. So even if government officials were involved, they weren't named. Now they're saying government officials, and they're naming the permanent secretary as one of those officials. And I'm not, no. I'll tell you, statement analysis. They didn't say a government official. It wasn't singular. It is plural. Government officials. More than one. More than one. Some more to come. More to come. More than one involved in this corrupt process. They're smuggling gold, they're laundering money, they're doing all sorts of things. And let me let you know that policemen are considered to be government officials too at a senior level. They're more smuggling money. Wait, sit back, watch the ride. Watch the ride. Money laundering. And again, in this period of time, the Mohammeds are alleged to have deprived the Guyana Treasury of 50 million US dollars, 10 billion Guyana dollars. 10 billion. Imagine what you could have done with that in terms of salaries to public servants, in terms of including teachers and all of those people. And now that the teachers are in strike, they don't want to give them. And the thing is continuing because, as we say only recently, 2 weeks ago, people were caught smuggling gold out of the country. That is the thing. And let me talk a little bit before I bring in Mr. Conway again about this sanction. My understanding that based on the sanction, and when you read what the Treasury Department is saying, that all the assets associated with the Mohammeds that are in the U.S. are seized. They are frozen, right? Not seized, frozen. People who have assets for them, those assets are frozen too. And then they go on to say that you cannot do any business. Anybody, well, they say you can't, but if you do business with them, you risk the chance of being sanctioned as well. You risk the chance of being sanctioned. And let me make this point. I understand that we know they were gold dealers, selling gold, buying gold, smuggling gold, they're accused of. I understand that they supply gold to many of the legitimate establishments in Guyana. Many of the legitimate establishments will go to purchase gold from them. Based on this sanction, if they now go and buy gold from them, they too risk the chance of being sanctioned. So let me see where it will go. And remember, they go on to say, and this somebody commented yesterday, they also met about banks doing business with them globally. Somebody had said, well, only bank in the US, but the word globally is used. And my understanding of in the context in which the word was used, it means that no bank in the world should be doing business with these sanctioned entities. That is how I read it. That is how I read it. So therefore, I'm saying, let me watch the ride. Let's watch to see what they will say, if they will say anything, because so far, I think it's about 48 hours, and they have not rushed with breakneck speed as they're accustomed to doing to debunk, that's the word they like to use, this allegation. They have not said that the U.S. authorities are, what word did they use? Presumptuous. They haven't said so yet, so maybe they will say so later, that the U.S. authorities are presumptuous. That's the word they use when the judge handed down the decision in favor of the Guyana Teachers Union. The vice president, I could say so, because I have the record, he say the judge is presumptuous, right? Tell the U.S. State Department not the State Department, sir. Well, the State Department too, because people visas have been taken. Tell the Treasury Department that they are presumptuous to impose sanctions on these honorable and ethical, that is what the FBI, ex-FBI man described them as, ethical businessmen. Tell them that. Find some stones and tell them that. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. Yes, CC.
Yeah, Paul. And then we need maybe briefly looking at the Middle East connections, especially those oil producing country that they're mixing with. By the time you miss them, they're gonna Dubai and they're gonna other places. There is the connection. The connection is there. So the thing is wide ranging, you know, very wide ranging, and we need to look at the Middle East connection. They say because they're associating with oil producing nations, but not only associating with them. Not it had nothing to do with oil. Most of it had thing to do with money laundering and other corruption and other illegal activities.
They say that Dubai is the place of choice for some of these high-profile criminals. They can go there and they can do all manner of things with the... Hold a while. Also, that thing happened to me this morning, man. They can go there, they can do all sort of stuff with their money. They say these things are facilitated in that part of the world. I'm sure we're going to have more developments in this matter, and we are going to come here and we're going to talk to you more about it. But I think with your permission and the permission of CC, I think we're going to move to the next subject that we want to spend some time on this morning. CC, you think we should move on?
Sure.
Sorry, I interrupted you there.
I said we'll come back subsequently. There must be sustainability because things going to develop. Didn't they?
Yeah, but you know, a lot of people quiet. And as they all these agencies, the private sector, committee, all of these people, they're quiet. They are very, very quiet. All these so-called businessmen, they're quiet. And they got to remain quiet because many of them have been in bed with these forces who were sanctioned. Because before we come off, one of the points I wanted to make, they talk about, in terms of May Thomas, about the extractive industries, meaning gold, diamond, and all of these things that you pull from the earth. Now, she is not the permanent secretary for that Ministry of Natural Resources. She's not. So if she's named, it means that she is in collusion with people from those ministries or that ministry. Again, the State Department or the Treasury Department is saying that May Thomas, who was the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Home Affairs, who is the permanent secretary of Ministry of Labor, involved in corruption in the extractive industries. In other words, people extracting stuff from the earth, gold, diamond, and the like. Our ministry or the ministries to which she was attached are not in control of those resources. So if she is fingered, it means that other people are going to be fingered as being in collusion with her. And this is analyzing for the benefit of the students. We're analyzing for the benefit of the students. And Steve is asking the question, what? Not a word from the National Security Advisor, not a word from Rosenberg, not a word from the extended squatter. This is a serious allegation of corruption and crime. And none of them have come out to say anything, even to say, well, apart from the fact that they're requesting, the president said, we're requesting, I've spoken to the U.S. ambassador and I've requested the U.S. to provide all the information they have. What balderdash, what nonsense. They're going to give you the information when they've already said that government people involved in the government are involved in this whole corrupt scheme. And that reminds me, of GHK Lal. I got to read this study because GHK Lal said what we have today is not a government, but a gang of gangsters. For the most part, what Guyanese have for leaders today are nothing but out of control lunatics, pathological liars, unreconstructed racists, and political sadists. That is what GHK Lal said. And I concur. And the evidence is coming out. Gang of gangsters involved in money laundering, involved in drug smuggling, involved in other criminal activities. They're involved in those things, and they come and they say all kind of things. They call people criminal. They name people as being low life. They point fingers all over the place, forgetting that when you point one forward, 4 pointing back at you. 4 pointing back. But let me move on to the next subject. We got to come back on this. This is big. This is huge. This is not going away. This is not going away. And therefore, we need to continue to analyze it. We need to continue to let our students know what is going on. And yeah, political gangsters, I remember I say, when we talk about PPPC, we're talking about pedophiles, perverts, we're talking about predators and criminals. And the C for criminals can be substituted for corruption. The US is saying corruption, rampant in the system, the rampant corruption. Now, this one caught my attention as we move on. This one caught my attention. I got to again apologize for the break that we had earlier, and to compliment you for your perseverance, your stick-to-itiveness, because you're still here in your hundreds and hundreds, and I thank you for that. Now, this one over the weekend caught my attention. As a matter of fact, when we had scheduled the program for yesterday, this was to be one of the main subjects. But then the sanction came up, and we had to kick this one down the road. It says here, police superintendent suspended following complaint by constable of sexual assault. Let me read back the headline. Police superintendent suspended following complaints by constable of sexual assault. It says the Ghana Police Force today said, and this is on the 8th of June, that it has launched an investigation in relation to an allegation of sexual assault committed on a male constable by a male superintendent. A male constable, this sexual assault is alleged to have been committed on a male constable by a male superintendent. It goes on to say the incident allegedly occurred sometime in April 2024 in the vicinity of the Kingston Seawall. The allegation is being treated very seriously, and the superintendent has been relieved of command as the probe continues, the police said in a statement. Now, there are lots to unpack there as well. Police said that this allegation that a male constable was sexually assaulted by a male superintendent is being treated seriously. So what you're implying, that other allegations are not treated seriously? Is that what you are telling people, that the other allegations, one should recognize, or you should believe that all allegations are treated seriously by the Ghana Police Force? Was based on the release from the police force? No, that is not so. But this one is being treated seriously. Now, let me say this. And let me find the most appropriate way to say it. Because, you know, I grew up in the force in the TSU. We had a man named Archibald Sylvanus Ross, 5887 Ross. Very serious and strict man. People like Eric and those boys on the live here gonna know Archie. Archie said, and I ain't gonna use the word, but you're gonna know what I'm talking about. He said a B word and get rank. He said it can get rank. He said if you do it as a constable, when you turn corporal, you're gonna still do it. He said when you turn sergeant, you're going to still do it. He said, and they make you inspector, you're still doing it. He said, and God forbid, if they make you officer, then you're going to detail constables to do it to you. Archie Ross says so. Archie Ross says that. And, you know, for those of you who said you have always had people who are so inclined in the force, yeah, but it was very more subtle and on the down low. But now the thing open. But let me say this. They came out with a statement, and what caught my attention is the fact that they're going to come out with a statement about this male superintendent and the constable. But then what happened to Dharamlal? What happened to Dharamlal, who's alleged to have raped a female indigenous Amerindian girl? He raped her, he buggered her. And then the DPP said, no charge. All right. I believe it should be challenged in some way, some form, and some fashion. But then more recently, another allegation surfaced against Darmlal, and the police legal advisor Mandelmoor says that they get credible evidence to proceed. When the law, the Sexual Offences Act mandates, Section 41, says that any such report must be investigated by the police and a charge filed within 3 months. Or if you unfile the charge within 3 months, then the matter must be sent to the Director of Public Prosecutions to be pronounced on. Not Mandelmoor, but you have Mandelmoor say this. So I say to the superintendent, maybe you're in good hands because Mandelmoor might intervene and decide there's no credible evidence for this matter to proceed any further. But then, why identify? Well, they come with this one, they don't identify you by name, but everybody, well, not everybody. I know the man. Many of us know the man, and I'm using the word man loosely. Many of us know the person, I should say. And I say this because it was back in some time ago, 2020, I think it was, when they say officer fingered in sexual harassment of journalists, now accused of rape by female cop. They're accusing this male officer of sexually assaulting a male constable. I don't know the nature of the sexual assault because I say to you that under the Sexual Offences Act, there's a clear distinction between a rape and a sexual assault. So if you're talking sexual assault, then I think that distinction is made. It's not a rape. In other words, there was no penetration, right? That is what they are implying. But it goes on to say, this article, let me read it to you to show this animal farm that we are in. A junior female rank has come forward with an allegation that she was raped by a senior police officer who at the time of the incident was her superior and who she was required to take instructions from. It turns out that the officer is the very person a female journalist leveled sexual assault claims against 2 weeks ago. Well, I don't know who the female rank is, but I know that a journalist, I ain't gonna call her name, but I know her name, back in around 2020 or so, made an allegation that the now traffic chief sexually assaulted her in his office. The story is, let me continue to read. Earlier this week, this publication was informed that the female rank came forward and provided a statement in relation to the matter. Prior to her coming forward, we were told that there were a number of females who had in the past expressed concerns about the alleged inappropriate advances towards them by the officer. By virtue of the allegation leveled against the officer by the journalist, he was, according to Commissioner of Police Destiny James, last week stood down from his normal duties. Statements were provided in the matter, and the investigations are set to be ongoing. According to a statement which the police force issued on the night the reporter made the formal complaint, the statement in relation to the matter, the complaint of the station relating to the matter. In the case of the journalist, it was reported that several officers were informed of the sexual harassment by the senior police. Let me read about. In the case of the journalist, it was reported that several officers were informed of the sexual harassment since last year, and they say they did nothing about it. And that is the story. So, all right, now you got other allegations made. And I'm familiar with the allegation against the journalist. I can't go into the details, but the allegation was made. And when it says stood down, the man was removed. The man was the head of the narcotics branch at the time, and the report is that the journalist was doing a report and wanted some information. She was then invited to the office, and then she alleged that she was sexually assaulted. She did not report it immediately, but she said that she told several officers, many of whom admitted that she told them about this matter. And it was a junior rank, it is said, when she brought it to the junior rank's attention, then the junior rank advised her what to do. So they're coming now and they're licking down this man. And you don't have to ask about the ethnicity of these people. Don't let me go there. Don't let me go there. Because I'm telling you that this is an animal farm. All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. So the allegation made, a journalist made this allegation that a senior officer assaulted her. And as you would have expected, when the file reached to the DPP, the Director of Public Prosecution, the same director that we have now, they said no charge. So charges are selective, not based on the evidence, but based on who you are, perhaps even your ethnicity. Said no charge. So the fact that this one against whom this allegation is made is not that same ethnicity, he might be unfortunate. He might end up before the court charged with this sexual assault. Let's see where that will go. Let's bring in Mr. Conway. Mr. Conway, I'm sure you're familiar with or you would have heard about the report of the male officer assaulting the male constable, and you would also be familiar with the one where the journalist made the allegation. What are your views, my brother?
Yes, I'm familiar with both. I recall reading and talking to several persons, the one with the journalists, and then I think it washed out at the DPP stage. I don't know for what reasons. And I'm aware of this current one with the male superintendent. And I must admit, I've seen certain video, purporting to be what took place at the seawall. It's revealing if it's true, if it's genuine. But I won't be surprised if I hear that there's no corroboration, there's no credible evidence. They have an alibi. And I won't be surprised if Mondale Moore again take on the role of the DPP and say no action. Karambiti took on the role of the DPP, and we didn't hear a word from the DPP that hey, what he did was wrong, or pull him over and say no. He has no authority. I am dealing with a file now, So, and ethnicity, hey, look at it. Animal farm, as you mentioned, coming into play. So since the initial report by the police, we haven't heard anything more. We don't have anything more. So I wouldn't be surprised, Paul, if before long you hear either Mondale Smith saying, hey, Mondale Moore saying this is it, no action, or even the DPP say there's no evidence. But the thing is that person's supposed to be challenging those things. I'm surprised that so far in the second allegation made against Darren Lal, that the female has not taken private action against him. Get some lawyer and take private action. It's time that we start challenge the status quo, especially the conduct of the DPP. And there are too many instances where the conduct of the DPP has left much to be desired, appear to be purely political. But it's time that persons started to challenge actions or lack of actions by the DPP.
Yeah, no. Man, I'm fucking
Yeah, folks, it happened again. So I don't know if you can hear me, if you can see me, let me know. Let me know if you can see me. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. Mr. Conway, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
All right, let me continue. I do a little contraption thing here, and we are going to continue. So please continue where you left off a while ago.
Yeah, well, I close off there for a while.
All right. So, let me say, folks, yeah, we had issues. We have been having issues all morning. I just did a little something here to log on to my mobile hotspot, and that is how I am able to talk to you now. You might see the picture is not as great as it was before, but again, I say I want to make this point to you that coming back to the same matter with the superintendent who is accused of sexually assaulting the male constable, and the second report against Dharamlal, I read sometime last week or before the last, the victim saying that she was dissatisfied in the manner the matter was investigated and that she intends to take it further. So I had said before that, look, somebody's saying no song and somebody's saying loud and clear. Loud and clear. All right. So I'm saying before that it is time that they decide to pursue private criminal charge against or charges, because you know too there was an allegation that of cyberbullying, and even though Mandel Moore usurped the functions of the DPP and said no credible evidence to proceed with this sexual assault allegation, what happened to the cybercrime allegation? They haven't said anything about that. Have they investigated that? And therefore, I am saying that they need to bring a private criminal charge or private criminal charges against Dharamlal and let the DPP null pros, let the DPP discontinue the proceedings, because it is my view that that Mandel Moore was used to shelter the DPP. Because what? The DPP pronounced on the forced rape allegation that he should not be charged. And I believe they have decided that if she were to do similar or the same thing again, there is going to be an outcry, there's going to be an uproar. So use Mandel Moore, the police legal advisor, to say, well, look, we don't have credible evidence to bring prosecution against Dharamlal. That is what they did. That is my opinion. Based on my experience and knowledge, I believe that is what has happened. And therefore, I'm saying the way to deal with that is to make sure that you bring private criminal charges. I let the DPP show her hands by decided that the matter should not proceed. She has been doing that. Remember, they brought private criminal charge against Blanham, the crime chief. The DPP discontinued. They brought private criminal charge against the lawyer Singh, who is alleged to have spat on the police. The DPP discontinued, and there have been other private and public criminal charges. Because remember, the one with Nandlal wasn't a private charge, a public charge. The one with Ashni Singh, the one with Irfan Ali, those things were public charges, and she discontinued them. So let her discontinue the private criminal charge of rape and cybercrime against Nigel Dharamlal. I am saying oftentimes that sometimes our lawyers move too slowly, because while Dharamlal seems to have gotten off, the man up on social media trolling people, the man and understand that he got to go back under the rock and remain there. And the reason why he's doing it, because like May Thomas, who has recently been sanctioned, the man is a big wig in the PPP, the ruling party. At the last Congress, I think he got the 6th highest vote. If my memory serves me correct, he got more vote than Nanlal and all of these people. And Thomas is a member of the Central Executive, they said non-voting member of the Central Executive of the PPP, and therefore coming back to this sanction again. Do you believe that they're going to leave it at the level with May Thomas and not deal with other persons in that corrupt organization? It is my view they're going to do that, but the people work in their own time. And don't, again I say that they're going to make sure they get all the evidence. So when they move, I talk about the sanction. That is what the release said. 11 federal and state agencies investigated this matter. And therefore, you got to understand what is going on there. You have to understand that evidence has been gathered. Statements may have been collected from people. Phones would have been harvested for lot of information to corroborate all the allegations that are made. So when I talk about gold smuggling, when I talk about weapons dealing, when I talk about passport, the evidence would have been collected. This is not SOKU or the other elements of the Guyana Police Force where they get instruction from Carmichael Street and elsewhere and they jump on that and then get no evidence. The people would have ensured that they have all the evidence. That is the way they operate. They are not going to open themselves to civil litigation by not having proper evidence. It don't work that way. So when they come and they accuse you of money laundering, when they come and they accuse you of gold smuggling, when they say that you have been bribing public officials to make sure that your gold pass and all, they have the evidence. They have the names. They have the evidence, they have the names. And it is only a matter of time. And the people will say, long time done, short time left. Let me bring in Mr. Conway for him to have his say. CC?
Yeah, and I agree with you that it's time that they started to take private action against Dharamlal. And I always remember, Paul, you know it well, the case with Henry Green, at Commissioner of Police. He was then Commissioner when the DPP had advised the police for him to be charged. He rushed to court quite rightly, and he was successful because he and Chang say, "Come before me and tell me why you advise the police that Henry Green be charged with rape." And the DPP couldn't have proved anything, and Henry Green was not charged. So they had cases where you could challenge, use the court system, go to the high court, go to the court and make your case, play your case, and put the DPP in a spot. The DPP must be put in a spot because the DPP is not a paragon of virtue. And with all of the DPP wearing long skirts, or slippy showing in these sexual matters.
Yes, and it's very disturbing. Again, more evidence that the society in which we live is not governed by the rule of law. And then they talk about the same thing, some part of the release in keeping with rule of law. But the government, the people in Guyana, the government don't know anything about the rule of law. If they know anything about the rule of law, I said yesterday, I think it was, that there would have been a credible investigation against the vice president when the Vice News story dropped. They would have been, look, and they talk about rule of law. Somebody mentioned it some time ago about whistleblower. Dion Boscom, the sergeant, who by the definition is a whistleblower, came out and said that Asruddin Mohammed paid Caesar the head of the major crime unit, 30 million Guyana dollars to cover up the paper Shards murder. That is what he claimed. And they tried to persecute and prosecute him. When the act says that you should not do that, you should not persecute, you should not prosecute a whistleblower. The lawyer representing Boscom wrote to the president for him to get Boscom to provide protection as catered for in the law. Nothing. At the time, I remember when the first thing the president was traveling, going somewhere, he said, well, he has not seen it. Like if you got to see it itself, something come to you, you're the president of the country. Wait, so something as important, if you had considered it important, could you not have called your office to find out if such a document is there? Could you not, look, send it to me, WhatsApp it to me or something like that, and give instructions? But no, and he went and he came back and nothing happened. Nothing. No protection was offered. And then the police, the corrupt police, and I'm singling out those corrupt ones, decided they want to go after Boscom. So much so, this ridiculous statement by the man in charge of OPR, Beard, when he was cross-examined in one of the matter, and he said that he cautioned Boston. How did you caution him? He cautioned him over the telephone. That is what the officer in charge of the Office of Professional Responsibility, that is the evidence he gave. That is there. That he cautioned Boscom, who was a suspect in this cybercrime charge. He cautioned him over the telephone. Comrade, you can't believe these things, but we just bring the facts to you. That is what the man in charge of OPR said. He cautioned someone over the telephone. It's corruption. And here, let me tell you this. Mr. Conway described, or he gave a definition for corruption yesterday. When we talk about corruption in the wider sense, it does not necessarily mean that you take money from someone, You can have corrupt intent, corrupt actions outside of taking a bribe. Let's understand it clearly. So when you are going to give evidence, first of all, you lie, which is not only corruption, but there is a criminal offense. It's perjury. He followed in the suit of Mark Phillips, the prime minister, who lied in an affidavit, which is perjury. He lied to say that he cautioned the man, but when he got broccoli in the box, how did you caution him? He never expected that. He never expected that. Where and when did you caution him? He cautioned him over a telephone. So we say that when first of all, you should arrest and then caution. So therefore, you arrested him over the telephone as well. You arrested him, and this is the man in charge of the unit. And I know this officer, and I know this is way below his standard. But the system forces people, weak people, to sell their souls to the devil, and embarrass themselves in this manner. It's a system. Because Beard is not no fool. Beard is supposed to be one of the better investigators, better detectives. But that is what he said, is the system caused him to do that. So that is what you have. You have a lot of corrupt people. You have a man, senior in the system, I got to repeat it again, laundering money. And what happens? Nothing. Again, I say, you believe that the U.S., with all their resources, technological and the human resources, because they have human resources in Guyana too, you think they don't know all of that? You think they have not compiled some file and get it there, waiting for the right time to drop the ammo? Waiting? Look, let me tell you this. As I've said again, I'm going to repeat. This is huge. This is massive. This sanction business, massive. And this is only the tip of the iceberg. This is only the beginning. And as we say, when these matters are dealt with, they start from the small fries and they work their way up the chain. And if the Mohammeds and May Thomas are considered small fries by the authorities, then you can imagine who are the bigger fries in this thing. You use imagination. Use imagination. But again, I say sit back and wait. In a little while from now, Inid Anchi Makume, it was a big bacchanal just the other day with Inid Anchi Makume. You know the song by now, the mighty Duke, woman bacchanal. You're gonna hear bruise out. But I dare you, but I challenge you. I challenge the cost man, the abusing out man, to abuse the Treasury Department. I dare you to abuse them. Well, let me listen to hear what is going to be said later about this matter. In particular, this gold smuggling, this sanction matter. Let me hear what is going to be said. Because again, this is unprecedented. So a lot of people in and out of government, business community and all of them, I suspect many of them by now would have gone to lawyers to get legal advice as to how they should proceed. Those who perhaps were in business with the Mohammeds, who do business, whether they buy gold or sell gold or buy foreign currency or sell foreign currency to the Mohammed, any one of the enterprises. I sure by this morning, or perhaps since yesterday, they would have gone to get legal advice to find out how they should proceed. And I hope that the legal advice they get is good advice, not ramgoat advice. I like what the ex-FBI agent said about the Mohammeds. He said, "Oh, these people are ethical people, honorable people, right?" And this man that was employed by the Guyana embassy in Washington. I mentioned it yesterday. The Guyana embassy in Washington contracted with a private investigator to actually clear the names of the Mohammeds because they couldn't get visa. And the man, of course, he who pays the piper called the tune. So the man draw down. I know how much he draw down. But the man come and say, oh, these people are being wrongly and falsely accused. They are good people. They are not involved in any unethical or criminal activity. Blah, 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 blah. He go on. So I wonder what he's saying now. I wonder what he is saying now. And again, I say, things like this should be investigated. How is it that Guyanese taxpayers' money is spent by the embassy in Washington to investigate on behalf of a private citizen? Because remember, this is not an investigation to determine whether he should be criminally charged as well. It's an investigation to clear his name so that he can be eligible for a visa, a U.S. visa. The Guyana government, through the embassy in Washington, did that. Sarmines is the man in charge of the embassy there. Sarmines in charge of the embassy. Somebody said we're still waiting and sue. We are there going to come. Because what's going to happen? Let me tell you as a raise the sue matter. Let me tell you, crystal ball, and not only crystal ball, is the knowledge and what we call intelligent anticipation. Because they said that eventually Sue was served with the court documents. They did not say that he was served in person. So he might have served by some other means. They said Sue was served. Now, if Sue was served and Sue fails to appear in court, the persons representing Barra Jagdeo are going to move for default judgment. Remember, default judgment was granted against him in the Annette Ferguson case. So they're going to move for default judgment. And if no appearance or if no defense is offered by Sue and his legal representative, they're going to get default judgment. He asks for $20 million. They might very well get the $20 million. And if you're involved in all of these things with the assets for Sue has and all of these, when you talk about 500,000 US dollars to one contract, 20 million is nothing for him to be paid. They might even pursue it. They might not even pursue the 20 million. They just want to make a statement that we sue him because he lied and we get $20 million. You got to read how these things are going. A lot of these things is just for theater, just for optics, that we sue because he lied and then it fizzles out. It comes out of our focus and it fizzles. You got to try and understand what is going on. And that is why we come here on Speaking Out and we explain these things to you. We enlighten you, we teach you about how the system works and what you can expect. That is what goes on. Now let me bring Mr. Conway for his closing remarks, and then we're going to take our leave for today. CC, your closing remarks, please.
All right, just to get back to Sue, and Bharat, um, and sometimes we say you gotta take it with a whole bucket of salt. Because all he said, Sue was served full stop, nothing more. Sue was served. I know we served it or when, just Sue was served. Anyway, we'll have to continue the discussion because sure by the time we reach again, other issues going to emerge or more players might be made public. So we're going to keep this on the front burner and deal with it as it unfolds.
Yeah, folks, we are not going to leave you without the information as the information unfolds, because as I've said, this is new. This is unprecedented in the history of Guyana, where people are sanctioned. And they talk about, like, you look at the Magnitsky Act, talk about government officials and all of that. And so far, there's only one official, the PS. And I say again, when you analyze the statement, they are talking about officials, plural, more than one. So therefore, one can expect at some stage, you're going to hear about the others who are also going to be sanctioned or against whom indictments have been sealed and will be unsealed at some stage. I also said yesterday, I'll be looking forward, the Attorney General made bold that they are working to make the extradition laws easier. In other words, it's going to be easier to extradite persons from Guyana to the US. Well, they didn't want it that way. They were looking to extradite people from the US to Guyana. Well, it can work both ways. And I suspect that given this development, that can go up on pause. Modification of the Extradition Act is going to go on pause. Because if you can also to get people from the US to come to Guyana, they can also to get people from Guyana to come to the US, including government officials. Including government officials. Comrade, what's the right? This thing is massive. This thing is massive. As I've said, people go run around seeking advice as to what they should do, what they should not do, and all of that. But I urge that people err on the side of caution. So if you used to go and change money, if you used to go and buy money, if you used to sell gold, if you used to buy gold from the sanctioned enterprise, be careful. Be extremely careful. Get your legal advice and be guided accordingly. Don't jump wild, because I suspect that a lot of legitimate businessmen might be doing business with the sanctioned entities. But remember, the law is that once they are sanctioned, you can't even collect anything from them. They can't give you nothing. Well, they can, but if you accept it, you are exposing yourself to sanction. If you provide stuff to them, you are exposing yourself to sanction. Yesterday I saw a picture on social media of Azaruddin handing over something to somebody, and according to the picture, it was something that was done recently. The thing say maybe yesterday. So I had to laugh, because house for, or you're providing both, and you're providing all of these things. My understanding is that based on this sanction, all those people now will be exposing themselves to action from the U.S. Department. I don't think, however, they're gonna go against any small man, some poor individual. I don't think so. I might be wrong. So, but I'm just saying that people need to be very, very careful. Be very, very careful how you're doing business with sanctioned entities. In closing, this thing karma is a bitch. In 2020, all of them, they clamoring for sanctions. During the imbroglio with the election and so on, or after that period there, everybody want, this body must be sanctioned. That body, they got Pompeo, lists of persons who should be sanctioned. They were never sanctioned. They were never sanctioned because they were, of course, they were all people in the opposition camp or the government camp at the time that they wanted to have sanction. No sanction. So therefore, the US is saying either they didn't have the evidence or they didn't believe that it was something worthy of sanction. But now they get evidence, and they decided to get an executive order to sanction these individuals and entities. Big story going on. Sit back and watch the ride. Now, today, let me again um, apologize for the several interruptions. I think I got to look at something that is more sustainable. I believe it's me the trying with. I believe because for many times Mr. Conway ain't get no problem, but it's me. It's me they're fighting with. But let them fight. They could fight as much as they want. This program will be on. You will be getting the information that you need to know. And I've said repeatedly that they have not been able to contradict anything that we have said over the years, right? Because we bring facts, we do research, and we bring you facts. And facts are stubborn things, and that is what they don't like. That is what they don't like. So, folks, again, apologies for the several interruptions today. In terms of looking forward, I am not sure. I think I understand that Monday might be a public holiday in Guyana. I am not sure if we are going to have a program on Monday. Let me tell you early. So therefore, if there is going to be a program, you are going to be notified in sufficient time. Again, I note that a lot of you have not subscribed. A lot of you have not followed the page on Facebook. So therefore, you're not going to get notifications when these things are sent out. Encourage persons to follow the page. On YouTube, once you follow, there's at the bottom right-hand corner a little bell, what they call the notification button. You hit that button, it means that anytime anything comes on the page, you are going to get a notification on your device that this thing is scheduled on Speaking Out. Something similar will happen if you like the page on Facebook. You're going to be advised when anything at all is published on Facebook. And I do publish a lot of things. I published some public announcement yesterday. I told them that green guava, good for diarrhea. That was published yesterday. Green guava. And some people said the leaf to buy the leaf. So if you get diarrhea, green guava can work. And people put up other local remedies that are good for diarrhea. Some people ask about the shortage of toilet paper and Pampers. I understand that the shortage has become even worse. People soon going to start black market Pampers and toilet paper. Black market. Or you could go to Chronicle or Guyana Times. Go to Chronicle or Guyana Times and you're going to get toilet tissue there to use. All you have to do perhaps is get a little water and dump it, and you're going to be able to use it for the purpose that you want to use it for. So, folks, yes, again, I'm not sure about Monday, but stay tuned. And as I said, we're going to continue to follow this issue. There are other issues as well that time did not permit us to talk about today. But, we're going to stay with it. We're going to stay. So let me say to you that until we come to you on whichever day it is, stay tuned, stay safe. Stay safe. Guyana is a place where accident, fatal, and other accidents every day, actually. Every day you have accidents. So you have to be extremely, extremely cautious. And again, I say, God spare life. We'll see you sometime next week, definitely. Not sure of the day, but I urge you to stay well. Until that time, bye.